Hello, my name is Lucas Parent, and welcome back to Chopping It Up. We got a loaded slate today full of guests. I got Joe Fucci, Lydia Paul, Katherine Kilsey. No JT today, but it's going to be a great show regardless. So let's get right into it with our opening monologue. So first, the James Harden experiment for the Clippers has been an utter disaster. Since he's gotten to the team, they're 0-4. He's averaging like 13, 5, and 4 on good shooting efficiency, but the offense is noticeably slower. They also lost Mason Plumlee due to Julius Randle diving into his leg, and the Clippers are now 3-6 and panicking. Just something to look at. I don't see them making the playoffs. Next, Tyrese Maxey is on fire. First 50 ball of his career, and the 76ers are 8-1. Hats off to that guy. The Bulls are 4-7, falling under that 500 mark, and they're rumored to be imploding. They have a ton of tradable assets. They obviously have the guys like DeRozan, Levine, and Vucevic, but then they also have guys like an Andre Drummond type, just a skill player who can be really good at one thing, it's him rebounding. Added to a contender, maybe like the Celtics could pick up a guy like Andre Drummond for some bench depth. Today, we have a big slate of games. Indiana's rematching against Philly, fresh off Maxey's 50 ball. It's going to be very interesting, and we'll see how that game goes. Obviously looking for a high-scoring game. Halliburton's also been playing lights out. Taylor two Tyrese's, I guess. Spurs against the Thunder tonight as well. That's Chet versus Wemby first in the regular season. I will be watching that one over all these other games. And then Minnesota once again facing off against Golden State. Minnesota beat Golden State pretty well last time, and I'm interested to see if they'll do it again. Our boys basketball team, Lincoln High School, schedule dropped, and I'll be covering that team exclusively on this podcast, so look out for that. One game I got circled on the schedule is our January 16th game against St. Ray's. I know me and my boy JT are going to have a little bit of a friendly beef over that one. He's a former St. Ray's student, and I'll be rooting for my Lincoln Lions, so we'll see. I think the team's going to be very good this year. I think we got some big impact players. Obviously, Wayne's going to have the team on his back per usual, and he'll be doing a lot of the work. But I love our rotation. We got a bunch of good guys, and I'm interested to see how the team rebounds after we lost a lot of good seniors last year, including journalism cornerstone Will Denayo. So that's all I got for this segment, and I'll catch you back with Joey and Lydia. All right, so for our next segment, I got two special guests with me here today.
Hi, I'm Joey Fucci.
Hey, I'm Lydia Paul.
And we are breaking down a tier list of our favorite Thanksgiving foods. All right, let's get right into it. First item on the agenda, turkey. I got that in S tier. You can't go wrong with turkey. Honestly, I've had some bad turkeys, and they're still good turkeys.
You haven't had my grandmother's turkey. I love you, Nana, but ugh. I put that at like a B just because of how bad it can be. But usually it's pretty good.
No, I'm gonna land right in the middle of you two. I'm gonna place that solid A tier.
All right, next we got cranberry sauce. I also have that in S tier. That's like the Robin to the Batman that is turkey, protecting Gotham City from hunger one day at a time.
Absolutely not. Cranberry sauce is a solid F tier food. Can't do it. Canned or not. No.
Do you have taste buds?
Yeah.
I'm with Lucas on this one. Cranberry sauce, S tier. I think there's something wrong with you.
Absolutely not.
All right, mashed potatoes. I had those at an A tier. They're all right. They're actually pretty good in my opinion, but they can't be kind of, dry sometimes. You got to be hammering the water if you're anticipating mashed potatoes on Thanksgiving.
S tier. 100% S tier. The way my dad makes them, so good. Absolutely perfect.
I have to agree with Lydia. Yeah, S tier. It's pretty solid.
All right. Next on the agenda, we got pumpkin bread. I had that in D tier simply for lack of experience. I've only had it a couple times. It's nothing special.
Completely disagree. The Libby's pumpkin bread, solid S tier. So good. So good. Eat that at Thanksgiving, any other time of the year.
I put pumpkin bread as an A tier, only because I've had some bad pumpkin bread. But overall, it's pretty good. I'm always chasing that bread,
As he is. All right. On the topic of bread, we got banana bread. I got this in A tier. I think a good banana bread is on par with some of the other great desserts of our time. So yeah, I'd have that in the A tier.
I don't disagree, but I put it a little lower at B tier. But if it's really good, I'll put it on A.
I'm gonna put banana bread at like a C tier because it's like the Walmart of Thanksgiving desserts. You have apple pie, pumpkin bread, and then just banana bread. Like, come on,
I get that. All right, pumpkin pie. I had that one in F tier. I'm not a big pumpkin pie type fella, but what do you guys think?
I agree. Solid F tier. Not good. Very bad.
I strongly disagree with both of you. Pumpkin pie is awesome. I'd put it at an A or B tier, and I'm very concerned for both of your well-being.
All right. Now we have what, in my opinion, might be the most middle-of-the-pack Thanksgiving eatery. I got stuffing. I had that as my only C-tier food for Thanksgiving. I just think it's pretty mid overall. It's not great. It's not bad, though. So I think that's locked in the C tier.
I would agree. I put it at D, but, it's just kind of there.
I'll give it a C. That's pretty fair.
All right. Gravy. I had that in the F tier. I've never even once considered, I've had it a couple times obviously, but nowadays I don't even consider picking up the gravy and putting it on my turkey. I think it just ruins it.
I completely agree. Completely agree.
I'll agree with you mostly. I'll put it at like a D tier. It's good in some circumstances.
All right, now we got something that's not good in any circumstances, and I'm coming in with the sweet potatoes. I can't recall a time where I had sweet potatoes and was happy with myself. So that's why it's in my F tier. Shout out Jen Parent. She loves those sweet potatoes, but they're just not for me.
Also completely agree. I can't do it. Mashed potatoes are completely superior to sweet potatoes.
Sweet potatoes sound nice, but they just make me feel sad.
You're expecting more with the sweet potatoes. All right, something that you probably have a low expectation of. We got the last item on the list is the green beans. And I got that at a D tier. I'll eat them, but not happily.
Also my D tier. It's not there. It's just not there.
I'll put C only because of how good my family cooks them, but I can understand putting them lower because, they can suck.
Let Peter cook. All right, last question I got for you guys. Is it too early to play Christmas music?
Absolutely not.
You are wrong, and your opinion is horrible in every single way. Christmas music should only start after Thanksgiving and end at Christmas.
I'm not about to put up my Christmas decorations until after Thanksgiving, but Christmas music, totally acceptable.
Why play the music if you're not putting up the decorations at that point?
To get into the spirit, just not fully into the spirit.
But you don't want to hit the spirit, like you don't want the spirit to lose its thing before Thanksgiving.
There's no such thing as losing the spirit, Joey.
I think it can kind of fizzle out a little bit if you overdo it. It's just like anything else. So you got to start it all at once and then end it all at once, So you have that nice month-long gap.
Where's the Christmas joy?
Seriously, we got this joyous fella over here doesn't like Santa Claus, I guess. LP, I got one more question for you. You said that it's not too early, so I want to know what your favorite Christmas song is to listen to.
That's a tough question. There's so many to choose from. I gotta go with some of the classics, All I Want for Christmas Is You. But Jingle Bell Rock, too many to choose.
For sure. All right, any closing remarks from you guys?
Variety show sign-ups for this week. If you want to join, please go sign up. It will be at lunch on the 15th, 16th, and 17th.
I second that.
All right, thank you guys for coming on.
Of course.
Thank you.
All right, and for our next segment, we got a special guest.
Katherine Kilsey.
Back here again, and we're breaking down some things that we think are overrated and underrated. So I'll go first. My first thing I have is overrated is carbonated drinks. I just can't do it. I don't want to give an explanation as to why. If you're in my stats class, real talk, I just can't with the carbonated drinks.
I 100% agree. I cannot stand any kind of soda, any kind of fizzy drinks. When I have a drink, I want to fully drink it and enjoy it. I feel like with the carbonation, it's just it's so weird. I can't deal with it. I just cannot drink soda. Even a Shirley Temple, I appreciate the flavor, but the carbonation will just do it for me every time. I can't.
All right, second thing on my list is pickles. I hear people talking about pickles like they're the best thing ever. When in reality, I can probably name 5 things that I'd rather have on my sandwich that are levels ahead of pickles. Give me tomatoes. Give me a good slice of cheese. I'm blanking right now, but I'd rather honestly have ketchup on some sandwiches than pickles, if we're being real.
Pickles, I agree, are really overrated. People adore them. I would rather have a cucumber. I don't like pickles. I don't know. Don't like them.
Cucumbers are slept on. Last thing on my list, dogs. Shout out to my dog, Tucker. But honestly, I wish I could revoke that right now because he doesn't deserve any type of shout out whatsoever. All he does is yip, yip, yap all the time, and I just can't with him.
I hate to just be agreeing with everything, but I low-key agree. I have a dog, shout out Millie, but I've always been a self-proclaimed cat person. I just cannot get a cat because my father is allergic. But especially big dogs, I cannot stand. I'm so sorry to all my friends who have big dogs and I go over to their house and I'm like running away from the dog. I just can't. They slobber, they bark. I like dogs, I like little dogs, but I think as a whole, dogs are overrated. I'm so sorry.
All right, let me hear what you got for your overrated things.
All right, so the first thing I have on my overrated list is chocolate ice cream. I cannot explain why it's just not good. I love cookies and cream. I love things that have chocolate in it, but just chocolate ice cream in itself, it's so many people's favorite. Like, no, it's not. You're lying. There is no way that you like just plain chocolate ice cream. It's not good. I like chocolate, I like ice cream, but I just cannot stand plain chocolate ice cream. It's not good.
Do you feel the same way about vanilla ice cream?
Absolutely not. I think vanilla ice cream is slept on. I'm a vanilla girl all the way.
All right, let me hear your next point.
All right, my next one is kind of controversial, I think, but Chick-fil-A as a whole. I think there are so many better fast food restaurants than Chick-fil-A. You know what? They're good. They're very good. But I think that like McDonald's French fries are better than Chick-fil-A French fries. I think that anything I can get at Chick-fil-A, I can get somewhere else for probably cheaper.
It's time to quibble on this one. I'm not so sure that Chick-fil-A is overrated. And I'll tell you why. It's because the standard is very high there. Honestly, if we're just going nugget for nugget here, I'm taking it over a lot. I'm taking it over McDonald's. I'm taking it over Wendy's. I'm taking it over Burger King. I'll take it over any other nugget. I do agree it is very overpriced. I recently made $21, and the $21, I went to Chick-fil-A and it cost $21. I'm being so serious.
And what did you buy? Was it barely anything?
I got 2 nuggets, 2 fries, and a water.
$21, folks. Overrated.
And they're closed on Sunday.
All right, the final thing I have on my overrated list is New Year's Day. Now, as a holiday, I think this one is just overhyped a little too much. I get it's a big kind of party holiday, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, but it's just kind of depressing when you think about it because it makes you reflect on everything you didn't do that year that you said you were going to, and New Year's resolutions just never follow through. I think people just make a really big spectacle of the whole New Year, New Me thing, but it's just overrated. It's one of the worst holidays, in my opinion. I just don't like it. I don't really think it's something that should be celebrated as much as it is.
I think New Year, New Me is a trend that needs to stop. You shouldn't be acting on a new year to change yourself if you feel like that's necessary. I've personally been the same Lucas for a long time now, but I just feel like the whole idea of changing just because it's a new year is kind of silly. Sorry, so now we got some underrated stuff. I'm coming in with a banger for number 1. We got Tostitos Hardy Dippers. And let me tell you, there's not a lot to say about these things other than they're the best variety of chip in the market right now. And I would recommend everyone try. They're kind of like, if anyone's watched Fairy Odd Parents, that guy Doug Dimmadome stays with the big hat. That's how big these Tostitos Hardy Dippers are if you get them right. So I'm rocking with the Tostitos Hardy Dippers for my most underrated thing.
All right, this next one is going to probably be a shock. I know a lot of people are very against this flavor, but I went in with the chocolate ice cream for overrated. Underrated. The number one most underrated ice cream of all time is banana cream pie. It is, I have some reaction in the room. I love banana cream pie ice cream. It is so good. I'm a fan of anything banana flavored, and this ice cream is so good. There's little bits of cake in it. It's so good. Amazing. It is so slept on. Definitely try it.
That just sounds not great to me. That's why I reacted as so. Second most underrated thing, give me 99 Restaurant. Their chicken parm is off the charts, honestly, and it's not overly expensive. It's a fun, friendly environment, and best of all, if you're listening to this podcast, you probably have some attachment to sports. You go in there, it's TVs up the wazoo. So that's why I'm tabbing it as the second most underrated thing. You can go watch sports, have fun with your homies, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I got as my second most underrated thing.
Is it always the real deal?
Always.
All right. Next for underrated, I have a movie. Have you ever heard of the Disney movie The Rescuers?
I have not.
Exactly, because no one knows about it, and it is one of my favorite Disney movies of all time. As a child, I would borrow this movie from the library and watch it 5 times over with my sister and my family. It is so good. It's about these little mice, and they rescue this girl from this weird pawn shop owner lady. It's so weird, but it's so good. Something about it, the storyline, no one talks about this Disney movie, and it's so good. If you know it, then you can appreciate it too. But if not, I would definitely go watch The Rescuers. And there's a sequel called The Rescuers Down Under, which I honestly don't know if I've ever watched in full. But definitely go watch The Rescuers.
All right, I just got to make a comment. This didn't make my list, but you said Disney movies, and I'm actually not even sure if this is a Disney movie, but it's animated, so it might as well be. Meet the Robinsons has to be one of the most slept-on films of our time. No further comment. Third most underrated thing, give me the saxophone. I was recently listening to an artist who will not be named at this time, and at the end of their song, they had a saxophone solo by, I believe his name is Kenny G, and it almost lifted me out of my body. It was such a great saxophone solo, so I just got to give love to the saxophone as the third most underrated thing.
All right, the final thing I have on my underrated list is the stroke butterfly in swim. And this is most swimmers' least favorite stroke because because I would consider it probably the most physically demanding swim stroke. It's a lot of arm movement. You really just gotta I don't know how to explain it. Get yourself through the water. It's very tiring, especially when you have to do multiple laps. But I think that's kind of why I like it, because when I finish a hard set of butterfly, I just feel so accomplished. And maybe it's just how much I don't like some of the other strokes like breaststroke, but butterfly is just my favorite stroke to swim. And I think that because I train it a lot, it's one of my better strokes. Maybe that's just why I like it, but I do think it is very heavily slept on.
All right, secret segment I didn't tell you about, best thing since sliced bread. I want you to tell me one random item in your life that you think is exceptional and needs a shout out. I went with Cinnamon Toast Crunch, had it this morning, and it was that bowl where you get to the end of the bowl and you got the sugar in the bottom. Very great way to start my morning, I'll tell you that.
All right, I think I would give this little shout out to my 5-minute journal that I constantly praise because every morning I write in my 5-minute journal and I write 3 things I'm grateful for and a daily affirmation, and then every night I write 3 things that made today great, and it just really keeps me grounded and I love it. And I wrote about it on some of my early decision college applications, so hopefully the colleges like my 5-minute journal too.
That sounds awesome, and we love positivity around this podcast. So last thing, we're trying to, as I said, holiday season is coming up. Thanksgiving, we are giving thanks constantly. If you were to give one teacher a shout out who's doing a good job, just trying to spread some of that holiday cheer, I got to give my nod to Miss Picozzi, the GOAT. They don't make them like her anymore. Shout out Miss Picozzi, best journalism teacher in the nation.
I would like to give a shout out to my AP Psych teacher, Miss Cook, for letting us watch Backyardigans the other day in class.
All right, any closing remarks?
I hope that you guys don't flame me too much for my over and underrated picks. But yeah, and I'm sorry again to my dog, who I kind of flamed here, but Thank you for having me on the podcast, Lucas.
Of course. Thanks for coming on, and we will catch you guys on the next episode of Chopping It Up.